Why Musk and Trump want to shut this deep state asset down. Do you guys understand how big of a deal this particular story is? Like, do you understand how big of a deal this is? Connecting these guys to the Wuhan Institute of Virology and also shutting down this Cold War relic of CIA front money that they are just burying in the ground. You're done. Just like that. In one day, Elon and Trump are like, you're finished. Just like $50 billion a year. Done. This might be the biggest single day of Trump news that there has ever been in the history of Trump. Okay. So right now, we're going to talk about two stories in this video. We're going to talk about this one where Trump has given explicit instructions to advisors to evaporate Iran from existence if he is assassinated. He's also shut down the USAID organization and has connected that organization, which is a CIA front, according to many sources, to the funding of the Wuhan lab and specifically COVID-19 gain-of-function research. And that is a massive story. We're going to get into that, but we're going to do this one first, okay? Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would do that. Help me continue to grow the channel. That is very helpful, and I appreciate you guys. All right, so we're going to start with Iran, and then we're going to get into the war that is being waged against the CIA by Elon and Donald Trump. But first, I want to tell you about the sponsor of this video, and this is a really important one if you own a home. Check this out. Now, if you don't own your home, it is fine for you to tune out for the next minute and a half, but if you do, it's time to listen up. Now, how many of you guys know what home title theft is? Because the FBI calls it house stealing. Now, American homeowners have $32 trillion in home equity, a pretty big incentive for people to try to steal their homes. Scammers can literally transfer the title of your home out of your name with a single pack of documents they fill out at the county registrar's office. And the scariest part is you'll have no idea it happened until you are in a financial and legal nightmare. You ever consider what would happen if someone transferred the title of your home out from under you and then started borrowing money against the property that you're living in and no longer own on paper? Well, if you follow the link in the description and you get Home Title Lock's exclusive $1 million triple lock protection, you'll never have to find out. The service offers 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and if fraud should occur, their US-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title. So when was the last time you checked on your title? If you're like me, the answer is never, and that is what the scammers are counting on. And again, that is why I partnered with Home Title Lock to offer you the chance to make sure that you're never a victim. When you use the promo code FIRE at HometitleLock.com, you'll get 30 days of free protection and a free title history report to lock up your peace of mind. And be sure to check out the $1 million triple lock protection details when you get there. The link is below, and that's HometitleLock.com, and the promo code is FIRE. All right, let's jump into this thing. So Trump says he's given advisors instructions for Iran to be obliterated if it assassinates him. President Donald Trump said Tuesday he's given advisors instructions to obliterate Iran if it assassinates him. If they did that, they would be obliterated, Trump said in an exchange with reporters, while signing an executive order calling for the U.S. government to impose maximum pressure on Tehran. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. Federal authorities have been tracking Iranian threats against Trump and other administration officials for years. Trump ordered the 2020 killing of Qasem Soleimani, who led the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and a threat on Trump's life from Iran prompted additional security in the days before a July campaign in Pennsylvania, where Trump was shot in the ear, according to U.S. officials. But officials at the time say they did not believe Iran was connected to that assassination attempt. I mean, here's the deal, dude. Like, just because intelligence agencies are kind of targets of Trump and Elon in some cases, like, I don't think these guys are crazy enough to believe we don't need intelligence agencies. Of course we need intelligence agencies. And so there are stories that are absolutely true that come out of these things. It's not always a lie. Like Iran, threatening to assassinate Trump. Why would that not be true? You know what I mean? Like what reason have we been given that that's not true? I think you need to take that threat very seriously. I mean, I can't imagine that there has ever been a president who is more like desired to get put down by more groups than Trump is, because he is literally taking you want to talk bull in a China shop, but bull in a China shop sounds like undirected. They just run in, they break everything. I think Trump has been planning exactly what he's been doing with Elon and all these guys for years. They've known exactly what they were going to do, and they are coming in and executing it in flawless fashion. The Justice Department announced in November that an Iranian plot to kill Trump before the presidential election had been thwarted. You understand why they would do that, okay? There's only one president that killed one of their highest, like the Iranian government is not as big as the United States, right? Like, that was their guy. That was their big time general who ran all of those operations and ran the money that was going to all these terrorist organizations that were hitting us all over the place. And Trump hit him with a smart bomb. You think we couldn't have done that at any point? Trump's the only one that actually did it, right? The department alleged Iranian officials had instructed Farhad Shakiri, 51, in September to focus on surveilling and ultimately assassinating Trump. Shakiri is still at large in Iran. I'm shocked we haven't hit them for that already. Iranian officials at the time dismissed the allegation, with Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghehi calling the report a plot by Israel-linked circles to make Iran-U.S. relations more complicated. Not impossible either, actually. Investigators were told of the plot to kill Trump by Shakiri, an accused Iranian government asset who spent time in American prison for robbery and who authorities say maintained a network of criminal associates enlisted by Tehran for surveillance and murder for hire plots, according to the complaint. I mean, it is really hard to know what you're looking at because Israel does have an incredibly high-level intelligence agency, and so they want, I mean, look, like they clearly want America at war with Iran, right? Because Iran is their number one adversary in the Middle East. I don't, how on earth would I be able to differentiate in a news story who's behind it, Israel or Iran? I mean, you just have to take it seriously either way. You know what I mean? Shakiri, an Afghan national living in Iran, told the FBI that a contact in Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard instructed him last September to set aside other work he was doing and assemble a plan within 7 days to surveil and ultimately kill Trump, according to a criminal complaint unsealed in federal court in Manhattan. That sounds pretty crazy to me, to be honest. That's the best. That's the best you got. You know what I mean? That's the best you got. Trump recently revoked government security protection for former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and his top aide, Brian Hook, as well as former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who have all faced threats from Iran after they took a hardline stance against the Islamic Republic during Trump's first administration. Mike Pompeo, former director of the Central Intelligence Agency. So more war against the CIA in this story as well. And now we're going to move on to the other one. So massive, massive bombshell when it comes to the Doge situation and what they are unraveling when it comes to where money was being sent and by who. I feel as though we are looking at a Titanic level deep state implosion. And something we never thought would happen. Like, did you ever really think that anyone was going to truly be able to unwind the deep state? Is that something that anyone thought was going to happen? And it's like, these guys have gotten to work so fast. And this USAID, USAID organization that was distributing billions and billions and billions of dollars, which, by the way, is a very, very tricky name because it sounds like USAID. They're not sending aid anywhere. USAID stands for U.S. Agency of International Development, okay? One of those tricky names that these people use, like these super PACs and every other. Like, do you understand that Elon Musk has access to all of the distribution line items from the Federal Reserve? So when people said that and, oh my God, Elon has access to all the distributions, it's like, yeah, he could see where all of the money is going. And then he could see where we are sending money, so on and so forth. Now, the fact that they got on these guys so fast means someone on the inside knew who they were, okay? But these guys have now been connected to the COVID-19 thing, to the development of the, COVID-19 development, the Wuhan lab, so on and so forth. So we're going to jump right into this because this is a big day for Trump. Okay, so the U.S. Agency for International Development has long been a central figure in the global health initiatives, including funding research on emerging infectious diseases. Really, like, how would anyone have known that? The USAID organization, distributes $50 billion a year. You're like, oh, cool. That must be like where, aid. And they're saying it's a CIA front. Okay. That's what I was hearing yesterday anyway, was that it was a CIA front and they're sending money to the Wuhan Institute for Virology. Why is that? Are they developing bioweapons maybe? I don't know. Okay, so one of its most significant programs, PREDICT, launched in 2009, aimed to identify and monitor pathogens and pandemic potential. Through PREDICT, USAID provided grants to various organizations, including EcoHealth Alliance, to study viruses in wildlife and assess their potential to infect humans. And apparently also to, pay to develop them into much worse versions of the pathogens so then we can address them somehow. Like, where is the example where gain of function research led to a pre-created solve for one of these things, right? Like, is there a single example of that? Is there a single example? Because you guys understand what we're saying. Like, just I realize I'm like neck deep in this particular thing, and sometimes I just talk. I'm not sure if everybody knows what I'm talking about, but gain of function research, if you are not in the know, means that they have, they're taking a virus, a real known, biological virus, and they take it into the lab, and then they mess around with it genetically, and they turn it into a much more dangerous version of it, like something that's never infected humans. They make it able to infect humans. There's a version of MERS. Okay, Rand Paul talked about a version of MERS that had something, I'm pretty sure he said 35% fatality rate across the board. 35% human fatality rate. I'm sorry. Can anyone think of a good reason to create? They created that. We're not talking about like something that they created that. What? Why? Okay. And so my point is, they will always say, Fauci and all these guys that genuinely believe in this research, which I think is not really true. I think they're actually developing bioweapons potentially. I mean, I don't know, but the whole like, oh yeah, we created a version of MERS that has 35% fatality rate. Okay, well, so your story is that you're doing that so that we can create a cure for it in advance, so that in the event that ever developed in real life and then got loose, we would have the answer to treat it. Okay, well, you've been doing this for a long time. Where is the example of that ever happening? When's that happen? When has something gotten out that you guys had pre-created, and so we had a really quick solution for it? Because I can't think of any unless I don't know, right? I could certainly think of one that it sounds like was created in a lab and ended up tearing the world apart, right? Locking us in an election year, shutting down the world, printing $10 trillion, starting the process of unimaginable inflation that we're going to be dealing with forever, mail-in voting, lots of pretty convenient, results from that whole thing. But I can't think of a time when it ended up working out the way that they pretend that it would. EcoHealth Alliance collaborated with several institutions, including the Wuhan Institute of Virology in China, to conduct research on bat coronaviruses. The partnership involved collecting samples from bats and studying their virus to understand the risk of spillover into human populations. The goal was to enhance global preparedness for potential pandemics by identifying and characterizing viruses before they could cause widespread outbreaks. Is that what it was, though? Is that what it was? Because I feel like we've essentially known now that it was gain of function that led to the COVID-19 pandemic, right? The emergence of COVID-19 has led to scrutiny of these collaborations, with some suggesting that research conducted in the Wuhan Institute of Virology could be linked to the pandemic's origin. You think? However, as of now, there's no conclusive evidence to support the claim that the virus originated from a laboratory incident. The World Health Organization and other international bodies continue to investigate the origins of SARS-CoV-2 to provide a clear understanding. Oh yeah, hey guys, don't worry, the World Health Organization is on it. CIA now says COVID most likely originated from a lab leak. Well, I wonder if the World Health Organization is going to get there at some point. Now, continuing on with the story of us busting these guys, it is important to note that the USAID's funding of research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology was part of a broader effort to prevent pandemics by studying viruses in their natural reservoirs. I can't believe that. What is this? The Times of India? These initiatives are designed to improve global health security by identifying potential threats and early and developing strategies to mitigate them. Okay. So, Doge versus USAID. Why Musk and Trump want to shut this deep state asset down? In January 2025, President Donald Trump ordered a near total freeze on foreign aid. Shortly after, Elon Musk announced that he and Trump were in the process of permanently shutting down USAID. Employees reported being instructed not to report to work, with USAID headquarters in Washington, D.C. closed to personnel except for essential staff. Musk did not mince words, labeling USAID a criminal organization, a statement backed by Trump, who described the agency as run by radical lunatics. This unlikely alliance has taken a wrecking ball to traditional government structures, with Musk granted unprecedented influence over federal agencies through the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Dude, okay? They are taking a battle axe to all of this. This is all CIA stuff. Like this is CIA. They're just going straight at the intelligence agents. This is wild, dude. Okay. Did anyone really think that Trump was going to be able to beat these guys? I mean, listen, like I couldn't be happier, but I never imagined that they would actually be able to go in there and just gut these guys like this. Musk views USAID as a bloated relic of the Cold War, an expensive tool for foreign meddling masquerading as humanitarian assistance. To Musk, it's not about saving lives. It's about saving taxpayer dollars and limiting U.S. involvement in It's about saving taxpayer dollars and limiting U.S. involvement in global manipulation. This view resonates with technocrats in Trump's inner circle who believe America's desire to act as a global policeman hampers the country. Saving taxpayer dollars? I don't think that's what he's saying. The role of USAID in America's global strategy. Founded in 1961 by JFK, USAID was intended to promote democracy, freedom, and capitalism through aid. Critics argue that USAID is the velvet glove covering the iron fist of U.S. foreign policy. It funds NGOs, civil society organizations, and the media outlets aligned with American interests. In places where military intervention would be too obvious, USAID steps in to promote democracy, often interpreted as supporting governments favorable to the U.S. interests and undermining those who aren't. Dude, this is CIA all day long. Okay? Now, listen to what I'm telling you, though. This is the whole point with government spending, okay? The reason government spending has been out of control. Now, listen, am I going to pretend that I understand where this money is going and how it's actually implemented? I have no idea, okay? What I can tell you is that this is a perfect example. JFK implemented it. Do you think that they implement these programs and they start having a bunch of infrastructure around it, especially in the intelligence agencies? Do you think that these numbers ever go away? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we got 50 billion going there. Like, do you ever think that they just go, okay, that's not worthwhile anymore. That's not useful. Like, once they put it on the books, it's there like forever until you get Elon Musk coming in with a chainsaw and slashing all of this stuff. Now, I mean, honest, like what this really is, honest, this is a shocking example of how powerful the president actually is if he wants to exert that power and just stand up to everybody. And the bottom line is they pushed Trump to this, okay? They could have assimilated when Trump came in for his first term, he had no idea what he was doing, okay? If they would have made an ally of him, if they would have come in and treated him with respect and they would have explained to him how all of this works and they could have spun it however they wanted, right? They could have had one of the most popular presidents ever in their corner doing their, kind of helping, collaborating. But they went the other way. They went to war with him, and they demonstrated how truly corrupt they can be, how dirty this game is. And so they got the you want to talk, okay, now Trump doesn't want to get America in wars, but you want to talk about the number one war president of all time, you are looking at him. He waged war on his enemies. He doesn't know how to do anything except fight, okay? He's fighting for us. I really believe that. And in these cases, he's burying them. I don't really even understand how he's able to do this, but it's fucking awesome, dude. Okay, so according to Mike Benz, a former State Department official, USAID isn't just another aid agency, it's the linchpin of America's global influence. USAID coordinates foreign influence efforts, acting as the central hub connecting the State Department, the Pentagon, and the intelligence community. Its mission, Benz argues, is not purely humanitarian, but strategic, building institutions in foreign countries to align with U.S. interests. I mean, if that's true, and that really, this is what I would say. If that's really true, you need to have some meetings with Trump, Elon, and people who have been running this. You need to convince them of that. Shouldn't be very hard, dude. Okay? If it really is what you're saying, it should not be that hard to communicate why. Now, if you're telling me that the linchpin of us, yada, 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 is funding COVID, funding gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab, I'm sorry. I don't agree with you that is an important spend, and you're going to need to show other examples of how it's doing good when that first example is very, very bad, okay? Not everyone supports their aggressive stance. Critics argue that dismantling USAID would be a geopolitical blunder. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy called it the total destruction of an agency that has saved countless lives and advanced American interests for decades. AOC warned that having an unelected billionaire influencing U.S. foreign policy poses a grave threat to national security. Okay. Oh no, AOC with all her credibility. Even some Republicans are uneasy. USAID has been crucial in stabilizing regions where instability could lead to terrorism. Without USAID, the U.S. loses a key tool in soft power, potentially leading to increased military interventions. Well, you can't do that without the president. While Musk and Trump focus on dismantling USAID, China is expanding its global influence through blah, blah, blah. Okay, so bottom line is, this is a real big deal. All right, we're going to cut this one off right here because I got a lot more Trump coming today, dude. He's about to shut down the Department of Education. He's going to shut down trans girls or trans people in biological sports that they were not born in. I can't even keep track of all of them, dude. You got this guy who just wrote an article saying that Trump is ruining the Super Bowl by going to it. It's like, all right. So lots of people to light up. But I appreciate you guys very much. And if you made it this far, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel and ring the bell and then also like this video. You guys are the best. Thank you guys.